one thing that we train every person to do, and it's something that it's kind of our secret sauce, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
We are live. We are back direct from Medellin, Colombia. And today we have Kelly Wilson, who we've had for the last 2 weeks. This is now week number 3. And we have a special guest, Samuel DeMarco. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Loving the energy.
Where are you dialing in from, man? What part of the world?
So I actually grew up in New York City my whole life. And, after a couple of, remote opportunities, I made my way down to Pennsylvania. I lived in Philadelphia for a few years. And then, after getting into solar heavy down in the Philadelphia market, I actually made my way over to the Midwest. So now I'm in Louisville, Kentucky. So I made a little bit of a change. Went from kind of the city to the farm life out here. But I got to say, I like it. It's nice, man.
Holy moly. Yeah, Kentucky. I've never been there. Have you been there, Kelly?
Oh, I've never been to Kentucky.
No.
But based off of what Sam tells me about Louisville, it sounds like a fun place to be.
It is a fun place.
You're in Germany, right?
Yes, I am in Germany right now.
Any plans on going back to the US, or you love?
Oh yeah, of course. Eventually, it's just like got a fiance and babies over here, so like US immigration is not an easy thing.
Yeah.
So
I know all about it.
Working on it. But that's neither here nor there. I'll figure that out. But you can sell solar from anywhere in the world, so it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
It's not going to keep making a living.
We've got Ashley Daring, who says Sammy Deals. Sammy, is that your nickname? Is it?
Yep, Sam. Yep, that's yep. that one goes way back.
Love it, man. Awesome, cool. So look, as we start getting people jumping on this live, number one, for those who are watching and for those who are watching in the future as well, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, a recorded live stream on this group as well. Any questions that you guys have got, if it's live, drop it into the comments. This is your chance to ask questions on the topic that we're going to be going through today. If it's on YouTube or Spotify, at the end of this call, we're going to drop the Instagram handles, Facebook pages that you can use to get in contact with both Samuel and Kelly as well. But super excited about the topic for today, the do's and the don'ts of running high performance sales teams. Now, as you guys know, this is Sales Talk with Solar Pros. So we love talking sales. We love talking, anything that can get us closer to collapsing time between making a decision of going out and selling and getting a deal and getting paid on that deal. So super excited about this topic. Take it away, Samuel.
Yeah, man. The crazy part is there are so many more do's than don'ts, but it's those 3, 4, 5, 6 small little don'ts that everybody always does that gets you in a dark place. And in my experience, it all starts with a simple phrase, right? RHTD, recruit, hire, train, develop. And that's the basis of any major sales org, specifically in solar, right? There are a ton of people that will come from a variety of industries, selling cell phones, selling gym memberships, selling cars, selling insurance, that will dabble into solar. And I'll tell you, it is a whole new animal. So finding that right person is so precise, and you have to critique that person to get the right results you want. So just like you would have recruiting and hiring, right? You would have that training and developing aspect of it. Now, most people think that training and developing is the same thing. It is not, right? Training is like taking a person with solar, right? For example, that has never driven a car before, giving them a brand new car with a manual on how to drive it and say, go, right? That's the training part. The developing is the nurturing, is the actual push, is that simplified breakdown with that rep throughout the whole process to get them from A to B. And what I've seen with the industry is specifically orgs that are just starting out. They'll throw a lot of money, they'll throw a lot of time, a lot of effort into buying quality leads, putting a beautiful website up, having a really nice, intricate internal system, a nice CRM, spending $20,000, $30,000 before they even have a deal on the board potentially. But when it comes down to that training process, right? It's like quick 1, 2, oh, they're good to go. They can read, they can do solar, they can recite the
Chuck them
alphabet, they're
straight in the
fine.
deep end.
Right in the deep end. And it's the biggest flaw that I've seen everybody make. So I just wanted to emphasize, right? Just like you have a difference between recruiting and hiring as well, because recruiting, right? That's your referrals from your happy employees, right? That's your online postings with ZipRecruiter, Monster, LinkedIn, what have you, right? That's the easy part. The easy part is getting noticed. The hard part is finding the right gem, right? Finding that right person. And if you're combining your recruiting process with your hiring process in that same category, you're skipping 5 steps, because at that point in time, you're just kind of taking everybody in. You're skipping that finite moment where you look at a person and say, man, can this person really commit to a full-time job? Or man, can this person really, you know, potentially sell in commission and not get a paycheck for 9 to 12 weeks? Is this
Or
going to
longer.
work, right?
Or
Or longer, yeah. Because how many times does it happen, right? And I'm sure all the other, sales leaders will agree, will, understand this. You take in a person, they'll, oh yeah, I'm good, I'm ready to go, I'm excited. You spend days, if not weeks, training them, and oh, hey man, I had to start Ubering on the side, I had to pay the
Oh, dude,
bills,
straight out, man. We
it,
had that
it,
experience like 2
yeah,
weeks ago.
Man, dude, I got money in the bank. I don't need a paycheck for 6 months. Whatever they
yeah,
tell you.
whatever they tell you. And it just like us being, salesmen or saleswomen in the home, with a customer, we have to really break down that rep the same way, right? Really fact find why are they here and see what they can contribute, because our time is worth as much as our money in this industry, right? And the biggest thing that I'll really emphasize on this, the process, right? Sales process itself, it's something that it takes years to notice, but eventually you realize you can't train a process. You have to develop it, right? And by develop, I mean you have to work that rep through that process. You have to work that rep through that step-by-step program. This is what you do here. This is what you say in this situation. This is how you handle the situation. And give real life examples, shadows, right? Recordings. You can't just tell someone to go into your online portal and read a few chapters and have them be a pro. It just doesn't work, right?
And I do want to get into the weeds of all of this, because I think it's super valuable that people have like the step by step of exactly what to do. What was that? What do you call it? The RDT. What
It
was it?
recruit, hire, train, develop. RHTD.
RHTD.
RHTD. Recruit, hire, train, develop. And no, you can't catch it at a bar.
There's no test for it. Did you come up with that, or like is that something that you build over time?
So it was something that part of just broke down to 4. So I come up with that part, yes, but it's something I've been using for a long time just to kind of simplify things for my brain. If you're bringing in a lot of new reps, right? Because you have to have the moment where you realize, wait, am I recruiting right now or am I hiring, right?
Yeah.
Because again, the recruiting part, you're just getting those resumes in. That's recruiting, right? You can't just hire every resume. Hiring is that real, you see what's really on the inside with that rep, right? And you have to take that step. You can never hire being desperate. You can't. It will never work. But back what we were saying before with when it comes down to having a process, right? A process is something you can't train. You can't have someone learn your process by reading it on a paper. You have to do it with them. And what's the biggest problem today, right? The biggest problem is a ROI and lead purchase, right? An ROI and lead gen, getting that money in the bank back in return so you can keep the machine flowing. And it's astonishing to me that one of the biggest things that people don't develop on is how to actually do your homework on an appointment, right? When you get that appointment assigned as a new rep or a lifelong rep, what have you, right? Some people don't realize the amount of free services that are available online, free data without a dollar. Yeah, you can pay $29 a month for this service, that service, and I have a couple of them, but it's amazing, right? The amount of data that you can do and what you need to train on with your team. And this is one of the big things that has kind of really, helped me and Kelly push through this, because we're going through all of the nitty gritty with that house before we even give them a call, before we even go in person. And I'm actually going to share my screen and just show a couple things here, just to give an example.
So what does qualifying the house mean? I've heard that probably 5 million times with people talking about solar, but what does somebody mean when they're seeing if a person is qualified?
So I'm going to show you right here. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I know this may look like just a simple Google Earth image, right? Now, this is a house. I picked a random home, just any random house online, and I kind of broke it down. And I want everyone who's watching to pretend that this is a lead that you bought for your rep. This is a lead that you purchased for yourself. This is a
Got a juicy south facing roof.
Yeah, it does. It does, rep 100%, right? This is a great lead. But then again, just taking one glance at it, what do we know about this? It has a south-facing roof. That's all we know, right? But with just a little bit of a deeper dive, I'm talking a 5-minute dive. So for your 45 to potential $100 purchase for this lead or wherever you're getting your data from, you can spend 5 minutes and break it down, right? So just one click on Google, like Kelly said, oh, look, south-facing roof. How good? Project Sunroof. Project Sunroof is one of the most underutilized tools that most new solar reps don't even know exist. And it's growing. Right now, it's mostly in metropolitan or suburban metropolitan areas, but it gives you a major advantage to get that glimpse of like, wow, look at that. Look at that house. Guess what? You're calling the customer. They're not picking up. Send them a picture. Mr. and Mrs. Customer, by the way, I was just glancing your house online. It has amazing production. Have you ever seen this before? By the way, give me a call back. My name is Sam. I'm your solar pro that's going to be helping you out today. Boom, done.
Wow. And what point are you doing this in? Is this like you're purchasing a lead and your appointment setters going through the list or
So,
what point?
So this is the rep's homework. We're not even doing this. We did the work of getting them the contact. Now it's the rep's job to figure out how to crack the cookie, right? How to really break it down. So now if you show this to your team on a daily basis, which we do on our morning calls all the time, we break down the day. This is just step 2, right? Step 2, look at that radius, looks great. Step 3, and this is the most, it baffles my mind that probably 10% of solar pros will use Zillow as a tool, right? Now, Zillow, right? People may think, oh, I don't care what the house costs. They're getting solar. But Zillow is going to give you amazing little crumbs here. First thing it's going to give you the year the house was built. Some people say, why is that important? Well, if this house is built, the roof, 100%. But if the house is built in 1959, what else do you think it's going to need potentially?
They didn't get an electric upgrade. They're going to need one of those.
That's right. That's right. Because nobody wants to be that rep that's going to be stuck a month later with that change order. I mean, damn, do I go back to that customer for an additional?
Yeah, man, I need another $4,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,500, $4,000, or do I just take it out of my commission? And it's simple things like this that if you just have your team trained to price in on the beginning, I mean, that's one less thing to potentially sign. And I hate to say it for, people trying to grow your business, everyone wants to be compassionate towards their sales team. But if you have one rep who's going to want to jeopardize a $50,000, $60,000 job that the company paid money to get that lead for because they're worried about their little extra commission, that's a problem, and it's these little things with research that are going to do an amazing little thing for you, right? So coming down to beyond the overall age of the home, right, we're going to be able to see when the house was purchased. So this house was purchased in 1999, right? So being purchased in 1999, with it being the same owner, this is a lifelong liver here. It's their home. This is their forever home, right? They didn't just move in. This is an impulse buy. They know every nook and cranny of their house. This is a family decision. It just gives it a little bit of an extra edge to kind of know what you're looking at, right, and what to expect. And as Kelly said before, the roof age, right? Now, a house is, I don't know, 60 years old or not, if not more, probably had a roof by then. How do you check that?
Well, that one's 100% had a roof. There's no 100%. Way that's the original. That house would be condemned.
Or it's falling apart.
Which we've all seen.
Yeah.
We've all seen this in the industry, right? I opened up a main service panel once, and it had a surge protector basically acting as a ground. And And I said, hey, you know what? Whatever. To each his own. It's one of those handy dandy, on my
I'll
own
just
homeowner.
replace I'll give you a new surge protector, man. Free surge protector with the solar system.
Absolutely. Throw it in there. But right into Street View I'll go. This will give you the most depictive view if you need a roof or not. And again,
Oh,
Street View.
that guy needs a new roof.
Oh, yeah. How do you tell, Kelly? What do you see here?
He's got 3-tab shingles, man. No ridge vent. He's got a patch job right there. You can see those light colored shingles.
Yep, right here.
That's a patch job on his roof. And those black streak marks that you see coming down the roof is actually a little fungus that's growing on your roof. That roof's probably 30 years old. And it's a
100%.
3-tab shingle. They barely last 20 years. So this dude needs a new roof. And you can send him a little screenshot. You book that appointment. You send that screenshot of the Google sunroof before the appointment to get them all freaking jacked up about the appointment. Like, hey, look at how great your roof is for solar. Or if they miss the appointment, you can send up a follow-up, right? We just use it as a tool to mix in.
100%.
Hello everyone, my name is Kelly Wilson, CEO of Apollo Energy Company. Extremely excited to announce our Dealer Incubator Program. So what is the Dealer Incubator Program and who is it for? The Dealer Incubator Program is for dealers, small teams of sales guys, ideally doing at least 10 deals a month, and we want to help you grow to doing 50 deals a month. Who is the program not for? The program is not necessarily for an individual salesperson. If you're just a single sales guy looking for a new opportunity, we can definitely bring you into our own internal team. We provide leads to our team, and we can get you doing 10 to 15 deals a month right away. So what problems are we going to help you solve with the Dealer Incubator Program? Maybe you're not getting paid properly on the deals that you've sold. Maybe the payments aren't coming as fast as you were told that they were going to come. Maybe the installs are sloppy or the finance is expiring before your deals even get installed. Maybe you don't have the marketing in place to continue to feed your team leads. Maybe you don't have the recruiting in place to keep new blood coming into your organization. And perhaps you just don't have the operations in place to properly scale your team. We're here to help you solve all of those different problems. You're guaranteed to get paid when we say you're going to get paid. You're guaranteed to get paid the amount that we say you're going to get paid well ahead of time, and in line with your commission reports and the adder sheets that you have. We guarantee that you're going to receive the volume-based discounts that we outline for you ahead of time, and you're guaranteed to receive immediate support, whether it's at 11 p.m. on Tuesday night or at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. Our team is available to help you around the clock, 7 days a week. What type of results can you expect by joining us in the incubator program? You can expect to significantly grow your dealer or your sales organization, and you can expect to have massive success with the EPCs that we work with already. And you can expect that if you're exceeding 50 deals a month, you will be turned over to them directly. Apollo Energy is also going to assist you with establishing, if you don't have one already, an operations team, as well as a marketing and recruiting team, so that your deals can get installed quickly, you can get paid quickly, you can keep new leads flowing into your organization, and you can keep a pipeline of new blood coming into the organization to run those leads. Looking forward to working with you.
You going in there, identifying that this dude needs a new roof before he's even talked to you about his new roof, and how you're going to help him out and identify that problem before you even get into the call with that person, instead of like playing catch up after the fact, makes you look like a freaking pro.
Yeah, man.
You
I think
know,
it was
100%.
Andy Elliott who said, if you want to be treated like every other salesperson, don't do anything different, like act the same as everyone else. But if you want to be treated differently, then act differently. These two little things will make a lot of people who are watching this money, because a lot of people, from what I see in the group, people, they give up too easily on the lead. They don't know how to follow up. When they do follow up, they annoy the customer, they annoy the prospect, and the prospect just blocks them and never hears from them again. So sending them these little screenshots, and even like if we go back like 30 seconds, Kelly, everything that you said about the roof, man, I can guarantee you like 99% of solar guys, they would have no idea about like fungus growth, looking like a black streak across the roof or a patch job. But that in like a word track, and some little photos on a handbook on how to identify that stuff, man, that would take a solar rep that's brand new in a business, in their first 3 months, sounding like an absolute pro, man.
without a doubt.
100%. And this guy is not buying solar from you because he knows he needs a new roof before he goes solar, and you haven't talked anything about roofing to him, and he's not telling you that he needs a new roof because that's just how people are. They keep their needs close to their chest because they're weird like that. You identify that this guy needs a new roof ahead of time. You build him a proposal with a brand new roof, identify all these problems he has before he even tells you he has them, and then provide him a solution to all these problems. One low payment, no money down, you're this dude's freaking hero.
And here's the kicker too, right? Nobody wants to be stuck in a situation, I'll say the H word, hesitation. Hesitation is the ultimate dilemma when you're in the home or talking virtually. You don't want any pauses. So if you look beforehand and you identified and you were developed as a rep and you develop your reps to notice these things that Kelly was pointing out, what do you think to get beforehand? So you're not going to have to be waiting for 30 minutes. A roof quote. Now you go into the home prepared. Here's the roof quote. I did your research in your home last night, Mr. and Mrs. Customer. I've been doing this a long time. I spotted X, Y, and Z. So I went ahead and I got you a quote for you, ready to go as a professional, right? No hesitation, nothing. And the other thing too, which people got to look for when you're looking at Street View, right? Building that rapport factor, building that contact point. You can look at a yard, right? First thing you want to do is double check the year. See, this house, 2016 is the nearest Street View. So yeah, sure, the roof could have been redone and there may not be, the same ornaments in the yard, but we do know it was the same owner because we checked that on Zillow. So let's just say you see I support the police sign in the yard, or I love the New York Giants, or whatever, right? Now you have a connecting point with that customer. Oh, wow, I was looking online. I saw you're a big Giants fan. That's crazy. Whatever you want to say, right? It gives you that connecting point. So this is fishing for information. It's fishing for urgency. You're using every tool in your arsenal to simply scroll down the block and see what we got. Now, there's one thing in the first slide that we didn't check. Now, we noticed how the roof was southern facing, right? The first thing we did, if you're a rep, southern facing roof, before we even looked at any of that, the next thing you got to do, and I always say this, zoom out. What are you looking for when you zoom out? What are you looking for?
How many of those neighbors got solar?
Now we know there's a bunch of solar in the neighborhood, right? We know that it's nothing new. It's fresh. They have an idea of it. They may even know a lot about it. This is probably not the first consultation. It allows you to go in with your gloves up, right? Because you know what to expect, you know what to prepare for. But these are all the little simple things. Again, you can't train on this, but you can develop it. Yeah. This is development over time. And imagine, right? Imagine you had an organization, right? Or imagine anyone who's listening to this who's a rep right now. If you did this same approach with any solar appointment that you've ever had, just think about how much more of an advantage you would have had going into certain homes and how much more money would be in your pocket from sales that you would have gotten if you could have identified a problem beforehand and had a resolution with you ready to go. That's the kicker, right?
Man, this is like reconnaissance, man. It's like a reconnaissance mission, going in, getting more context, being prepared. You know what I mean?
Being prepared. And it's all free. Now, there is one other thing I'm going to show you, which is not free. It's actually $29 a month for a monthly subscription. I've been paying for it for years. And this is Ben verified, right? The reason I'm showing this, what's the biggest thing we want to show with a home, right? We want to show verified homeowner, right? And it gives us a glimpse of
let's make sure that we don't just blast these people's information out onto this group call though. But this gives you all of their name, their no, it's just we picked a house at random. Okay. But this you could just pick this address and you can get their names and their phone number and all of that relevant information, right? So you can identify some great houses in a neighborhood and just pick them up and cold call them yourself. But this is being live streamed into a Facebook group, so we want to make sure.
So I'm not going to show the personal information other than the address.
Please don't.
I specifically blocked it out.
All right, cool. I just want to make sure
you can't see it on the box.
So how different
this guy's going to get 500 calls.
Yeah, cold calling today.
Yeah. Dude, look how good your house is for solar.
Search.
What was that?
How different is this to like an app like True People Search?
So this gives you homeowner's age. It gives you their phone number. It gives you their email address, and it gives you spouse information. And you can pull a copy or a date of their deed. Everything about it. It'll even tell you if there's a lien on the house. It'll give you a glimpse of their credit score, and you can even see what kind of cars they own, right? Now, nothing beats better, right? If you want to have a conversation with someone, you see they own a brand new Corvette on their ownership history there, and you start talking about Corvettes. It's just an amazing tool to get every little bit. Like, this is hardcore, right? This is like real investigation. Like, imagine if you have a customer where, it's a one-legger and you can't get a hold of the wife, not hinting at it, but you can find certain things online. It's a crazy tool that's just unutilized for this. And there's one other part of it I want to show you guys without giving anyone's personal information out. But Project Sunroof, right? Let's just say we sold this house, right? And let's just say for whatever reason, we want to maybe scope the neighborhood. Again, this is at your discretion what you want to do to call on your phone. I can't advise you to do or not do certain things. But let's just say I want to go on Project Sunroof and I see this house. Oh, look, that's good for solar. I can simply get the address. I can plop it into Ben Verified, and boom, I can call that customer and virtually door knock that customer and say, hey, by the way, I was in your neighborhood in the past couple of days. We actually did a solar survey of your market here, and your house came back phenomenal. I would love to talk to you a little bit more about, potentially putting solar in your home, maybe as a brand ambassador. It's a great intro, but this gives you a free tool to get free information on someone in an area where you already had a lead. So let's just say it's pouring rain and you had a virtual. You can't go door knock. You can virtually door knock if you wanted to. They're just amazing things online. But again, back to just doing your proper preparation for your appointment. It all starts with a simple search. And this is stuff that you have to develop. You have to show your team on a regular basis. You have to go on the conference calls. You have to open up each appointment. You have to pop the hood, right? Show the team, what would you do in this situation? How would you handle this? Let them respond. And you'll eventually be able to spot out a roof like Kelly just did, or simply put information out to a customer that shows them their beautiful radiance, or shows them, some simple little things about their house that we can help them with. It's just a great tool overall.
Yeah, we used to do this back in the day, man. When we were in Australia, we had the Facebook leads, we had the call center, and then we would book out calendars for our closers. They're part of the checklist that they had to do the night before or the morning they woke up when they received their calendars, was to do a little context check on, I don't remember exactly what it was, but who's got solar in the neighborhood, what does the house look like, what does the house tell you, or like the Google image, Google Earth tell you about this particular customer. Is there shopping centers? Is there schools? What does the neighborhood look like? Is there a car? What type of car is out the front? All those little things that would help you, craft your presentation when you're going to see an appointment. And I feel like, especially if someone's being fed appointments, sometimes they don't even check. Like, they just rock up straight up to the house. They don't know anything about it. And it's almost just like put my money on black or put my money on red, just like throw it all at the wall and see what sticks.
Yep. I mean, listen, if you show up prepared, if you do your homework, you're going to make more money, right? If you have your organization and you train and develop your team to do this, you're going to make more money. Either way, there's more money at the end of the day when you get prepared. And there's no such thing as being too prepared, in my opinion, right? If you ripped apart that house and you found every little bit of information on it, and you knocked on that door, and you're ready to go, you're in your mindset, and you get that sale. You know what? You probably built so much rapport in that sale because you knew so much about the house already. And they were so impressed with your professionalism. There's no way that's ever canceled, ever.
Yeah,
right?
wow. This is amazing for even the people who are doing cold calling. So using
100%.
Yeah.
You should pull that up. We train all of our guys to pull that information up when they get somebody on the phone, right? You just punch that address in, you start looking at that property while you're on the phone with them to book that appointment. I see you got this, and this going on, whatever it is. And that stuff I just spat out about the roofing, that's like pretty easy to recognize once you know a little bit about roofing. I'm pretty sure that everybody on here who sells solar, their installer, your dealer, whatever the deal is, you work with somebody in a roofing capacity who does roof replacements for you. Otherwise, you're dumb if you're not working with a roofer and selling solar. But you should get that roofer. Tell him he will get a lot more roof business if he can give you and your guys an hour roof training on how to recognize different shingles. What is a 3-tab roof, and what is an architectural roof, and what is all that stuff that I just spat out, and what does that have to do with with roofing and knowing what all that means and how to identify those homes. Because when I'm going door to door, I tell people I sell roofing and solar. Or we do that on cold calling. We sell roofing and solar because some guys like, man, I don't care about solar, but I really need a new roof. And then we show them how much it makes sense if they get a brand new roof and solar and there's no money out of pocket. Like, hey man, you're paying $200 a month for your electricity right now. I'll get you a new roof and solar for $250 and it'll never go up. And this, you're going to eclipse that in 3 years.
Yeah.
Right. And you're going to come out of pocket for a roof.
Wow.
When you could work all that in as one simple solution and you preempted all of that, that's how you get that sale. If you have to fumble around, see how you get a roof quote, right? Here's the other problem, right? Because now we're talking about the appointments, right? We're talking about how to qualify the appointment beforehand as the rep, how to get all the information to go in and attack that appointment, right? And close it down properly. But here's the other crazy part, right? And this is for the people that have those other big orgs out there that are listening. If you're doing virtuals, right? Have you even checked that rep knows the state incentives in that area? Have you even verified with them that they know how that state works, how net metering operates, the specific rules, what CRM they have to use, what sales platform they have to use, what installer they're using, what warranties there are? It's different all around the country, right? And that's the other part, right? When it comes down to training and developing. You need to have certain people certified in certain markets. You're going to have a pro that's in Texas. You're going to have a pro that's in Pennsylvania. You're going to have a pro that's in Florida. Right? You can't take your pro from Florida and throw them in Texas and expect them to perform a miracle their first day. Yeah. You got to develop them. You have to prioritize strategically how you're booking and how you're setting. Right? Because
those freaking co-ops in Texas are brutal.
Mm-hmm.
They'll trip you up and you try and get somebody to sell the SMART program in Massachusetts. You know,
it's
a different world.
Different animal.
And I also feel like training, because that is like training on like specifics on every market, but also training the behavior of solving problems or finding out information that you don't already have. I feel like, because, I run virtual teams as well. Sometimes, the behavior that between, rep A and rep B, rep A, they were taught a certain way where if they don't have information, go to Google, because you're at home, you're in front of the computer, type in, what are the incentives in this particular state? What are the, what's the average cost per kilowatt in this state? What is this utility company offering, or, for net metering, etc. Whereas rep B will be like, oh, I didn't know how to, I hang up on the customer and I told him I'll call him back because I didn't have this information. You know what I mean? So even like taking that one step back, training on behavior, on how to solve problems, so wherever you drop them, they're going to be like a Navy SEAL. You know what I mean?
Wherever you drop them, 100%, right? Because they have to be
SEAL Team 6.
SEAL Team 6. They got to know everything about it. And
Deal Team 6.
Deal Team 6.
Deal Team 6.
It's Sammy Deal Team 6.
There we go. It's easy to say this, right? It's easy to show it, right? Now, I'm not going to lie. This takes time. It takes a long time to really develop every one of your, solar champions to do this. And again, if you don't have a leader, if you don't have a mentor, develop yourself on this. Make this a habit. Make it a ritual. Make it a routine. If you follow this process every single time, I promise you're going to notice things that you're going to start to say, wow, I wish I knew that beforehand. That would have saved me that other time, right? And in addition to fact finding on the house, one of the biggest other mistakes that people can make, let's just say we get the sale. Let's just say everything's all good. We sign this house up for solar. Everything looks great. It's all phenomenal. And then I walk out of the house. One of the other biggest issues right now is the money shock, right? It's the bank shock. Sometimes a newer rep can walk out of a house and feel like they just robbed the bank. They're like, wow, I just made $4 or $5 grand. They're happy. They have that high. They feel good. And then they're going to forget to call the customer in a couple of days. They're going to forget to follow up with them and be their friend. They're going to be scared that if they call that customer back, they're going to cancel. And that is one of the biggest flops that anyone can do post-sale. So when you're in the home, there's two things you got to do. Obviously, your objection is to get the deal. Your second objection is to make a friend. You need to leave that home with not only documents signed, but with make it a rule, 2 important facts, whether it's an event, whether it's something important about your customer's life, something about them that's coming up soon. whether it's a big barbecue. So in a couple days, in a couple weeks, you can say, hey, Mr. Jones, by the way, I know you said you had that barbecue that weekend. How'd it go? Man, I'm jealous. I wish it would have came to that. Just simple connecting points. Or, hey, man, did you golf last week? It was beautiful weather. I went down to my course. It was such a great time. Talk to them other than solar, right? If you keep it just business, they're only going to talk to you with business. If you let your customer open up to you, if they have any concerns, any problems, anything they want to vent, or anything they want to really just get out in the blue that maybe even giving them a backline concern, they're not going to call the loan cancel. They're not going to call the installer to cancel. They're going to call you with questions. They're going to come to you with concerns because they're connected with you. You made that distinction that you're just an average person. You're not a solar salesperson. You're a service professional.
Yeah.
Right. You're a service professional.
Yeah. It's all the
Service
little things
obligates.
that separates you
Yep.
from an amateur to a pro.
Yep. Because Kelly said it, service obligates. You provide good service, it's going to obligate, a positive response. And that's how you get your referrals. Right. And backtracking to even be going into the home, I hear this all the time, right? Oh, there's a big difference between virtual and in person. Now, let's think about what we just looked at. Let's think about looking at the house as we just did. When you're in a home, right, you make eye contact, you're there, you can feel the energy, yes. But the biggest advantage of when you're in a home that some people would say is you get stall time. You get to walk around, look around, qualify the home. It gives you a little bit of pause points. You get to figure out their why. You get to figure out essentially, what their goals are for going solar. You get to do all of that, right? You get to kind of feel that vibe of the home. But I'm telling you guys, you can do the same thing virtually if you just have two screens up, right? Have one screen with the home on street view. Walk the customer around their home. Hey, by the way, Mr. Jones, I'm looking at your yard right now. Is that wishing well still there? That looks pretty cool, man. I built one with my dad a couple of years ago. This is awesome. That looks great. Simple things like that. You can give that same in-home experience with a virtual experience if you're set up the right way and if you do your homework, right? Because at the end of the day, the biggest things that are going to stop you from becoming a successful organization, whether it's solar, whether it's insurance, whether it's anything cars, if you fail to train your reps to service, right? If you only train to sell, everyone's going to have commission breath and you're going to have no ROI in your money. It's just not going to come. But if you train your reps to service, right, and you train them to undercover all the objections before they even come up once, you train them to look at a house to know anything and everything that could possibly be wrong with it. You train them to be able to look at a roof like Kelly just did and pre-anticipate getting a roof quote where you're ready to go. You don't have to have a pause. You don't have to walk out of the house for them to go on Google and find a bunch of stuff about solar that's going to make them unhappy. You're getting that then and there because you were prepared, right? You were prepared and you're flowing through that process. And this all stems back to RHTD. You got to train, you got to develop. That's it, hands down. And developing,
So what's your background, Sam? Like how long have you been in solar for? Like what were you doing before?
So I've been in solar just over 3 years, and I jumped right into the wing of it. I sold my first appointment with solar.
Julian Backman says, "Let's go, Sammy D."
Nice. Yeah. So I actually I came from the fitness industry as well. I worked in almost every type of sales organization on the planet, but I was a higher up sales manager with LA Fitness. I ran a few locations for them, and that was after I owned a gym. And during that time,
He used to be White Goodman.
Yeah, during that time, if you take even like a gym sale, right? Like let's take a gym membership where we did hundreds and hundreds of them a month, and we were training people to do it with a process. What happens when you walk in a gym, right? When a customer walks into a gym, they're at their highest motivational point. Something triggered them to go in there, just like someone triggered us to be called in for solar, right? Something triggered them, whether it be a high bill or whether they had some, thing they read online that made them want to get away from the grid. Something made them trigger that phone call. Something made them trigger to put their information in the website. And we have to exploit that. So in a gym, when someone goes in there, if you walk in for a gym membership and you don't get one, you're never going back again because it's just a natural nature of the beast. Same thing with solar. And we took same day closes from a $29 a month gym membership and moved it to a same day close on an $80,000 solar system. And you know what? All the people in the fitness industry that that came over, into solar, I was the pioneer where I was kind of the first jump. I moved over there And we brought over almost 12, 15 people, and everybody was selling like hotcakes because they applied the same method, just one sit close, highest, they're at their highest motivational point, and they knew how to fact find with a customer, right? When someone walks in the gym, hey, what made you come in? You have a wedding coming up? Is there anything that there's something scary, the wife's making you lose some weight? What's going on? You fact find, right? Because you can revert those objections back to them. You can get them hooked. Same thing with solar. If you just identify why'd you have me here today, right? Break it down.
I do have to say though, man, the difference between an Australian gym and an American gym, walking into American gyms, I was always approached by several salespeople at the same time, or like fitness trainers, right? And I could just feel the pressure. Like I walked in there as an Australian to ask some questions for when I would come back. All of a sudden, I was being closed on pre-purchasing my membership for when I was coming back 3 months later. I'm like, wait, what the hell am I doing, right? Whereas in Aussie gym, you can't go in there and buy a membership. Like you have to buy it online, or you have to call in and say, hey, I'm interested. Can I book a meeting to come in and speak to someone? But it's like two completely, different experiences. Crazy. And some of the best solar sales guys.
Somebody doesn't try and close me when I walk into a gym, I feel awkward.
Yeah, it's like, dang, I'm gonna be closed. There's some of the best solar sales guys that I've met have been trainers at gyms or salespeople at gyms.
Yeah, it's down to that same day urgency. And one thing too, right? Like the biggest thing that you have an advantage of inside of a gym is why they're there. They're there to lose weight. They're there to be healthy. We have just as much of an advantage by solar because we know they want to save money and they want to get off the grid. We know what they want, right? We know what they want to do. We just have to help them. We have to break down those intricate little blocks that they may have. And you have to identify those blocks. So the biggest, I'd say, stopping point from comparing fitness to solar would be obviously a credit check. And I want to bring this up for a second because one thing I've noticed when I first came into the industry, I looked at it as one big show, one big Broadway play. I'm in the house, they're my audience. I'm going to get a standing ovation when I leave. That's how I looked at it. And running credit for me was always just a part of the process. I never made it part of the close. It was just part of the process, right? Imagine if you walked into every home and you said, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, again, I appreciate you having me out here today. Just so you know, based on, number one, how we are as an organization right now and all the world events that I'm sure you've seen happening, only about 1 in 5 homes that we go to will even qualify, right? And out of those 1 in 5 homes that we go to that will even qualify, only 1 in 3 homeowners will even qualify based on their finances. But don't worry, we're going to break all that down here for you today. I've been doing this a long time. I know how to get you qualified. Let's take a walk around your house, right? Or have them walk around their house, get them involved on the phone. And that's the biggest kicker, right? Getting them involved. So if you set the pretext that you're going to run credit as part of the qualification, now you sat them down, you walked around the house, you did all the fun stuff, you broke down their power bill, right? Which I'm going to bring up again later too. You broke down their power bill, you made it make sense to them. You gave them a brief glimpse of the number. Hey, by the way, this is a sneak preview, right now, the way these banks are, I've seen people with 800 credit score get declined and 625 get approved. I always say that, and we train people to say that. Want to know why? Because it's going to eliminate my credit's perfect. You don't have to run my credit. We let them know from the get-go that we've seen all different things happen, so we just don't know. And before we give them that finalized price, before we really sit down and break down the numbers with them, it's just part of the qualification process. We have to see if you're qualified. That's it. Because
that's so smart, man. Because a lot of us, we make it as part of the close. So it's like, we make it like this hump that we've got to go over. But if you pre-frame it at the beginning, like, hey, this is what the process looks like, including the soft check, whatever you call it. And then if you get approved, then we can move forward to see what it looks like.
100%. And that's why you're not there to sell them. You're there to service them. Your job as a rep is to do anything in your power to get them qualified for solar. Because if you get them qualified and they want to say no, you got to be so shocked. You're like, wait, you have to have a look on your face, baffled that they said no. Like you have to make it a party.
Dude, that roof is about to leak. What do you mean no?
Exactly.
You're crazy.
Yeah, man. 100%. And back to the qualification process. So I'm not going to share one because I don't want to give away anyone's personal information. I'm not going to share a real power bill, but one thing that we train every person to do, and it's something that it's kind of our secret sauce, I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to say it anyway. So when you look at a power bill, right, and you ask a customer, oh, how much you paying a month? They're always going to say, oh, 150. Oh, I'm paying 200. I'm paying 225, right? They're never going to know their exact amount. They're never going to know what they're actually paying. They're always just making up a fictitious number, right? So if you made a part of your process where part of your qualification was you did a complimentary power bill breakdown with your customer. First, you ask them, hey, by the way, what do you think you're paying a month? They're going to say, oh, 200. Okay, great. Let's open up your power bill, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, and always have them do the math with you. Tell them, hey, whip out your calculator for a second. I didn't have my Wheaties today. I want to make sure my math is all right. Perfect. By the way, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, I'm looking at your bill here. Looks like you paid about, your last bill was for $312.86. Does that make sense? Is that what you're seeing too? Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Great. Okay, perfect. And looks like that's for, let's see here, for approximately 1,946 kilowatt hours. Is that what you're seeing too? That's what you see there? Oh, it is perfect. Now you do the math on that. You simply take the amount that they're billed, right, by the amount of kilowatt hours, and you divide it out. And you're going to get their exact all-in price per kilowatt. Not what the bill says. This is their exact all-in price per kilowatt.
Wow.
Whether it's 22 cents, 26 cents, 19 cents, all you have to do now is multiply that against their yearly usage and divide it by 12, and boom, you got their real monthly average. And you tell the customer, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, again, I can't help you what you've already paid. I can't go back in time and turn on off your lights. My job is to help you what you're going to pay. So based on what you've seen here, right, wouldn't it make sense? And you agree that this is actually what you're going to be paying going forward, at least for the next 12 months, even without an increase? They're going to say, yeah. That's just the first part. Then you get their bill from a year ago and you do the same thing. You break down the math and you say, wow, it looks like you went from an average of $320 a month and from 2022 to 2023 to $386 a month from 2023 to 2024, where we are now. I mean, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, based on all the recent world events and everything that's happening that you notice, and between the economy and the lack of push for fossil fuels and increasing green energy, I mean, you tell me, would it be reasonable to assume that you're going to have the same increase going into next year that you had going into this year? Does that make sense? They're going to 99% say yes. Now you have your target number as a rep. Now you have the number you're chasing, right? You can't sell them on a price. You can't get them pitched on a price if you have no idea what the customer's concept is in their brain of what they're paying. And now you successfully broke it down. You let them repeat it back to you. They understand the math. Now you show them the savings. That's that step process. That's our holy grail. And that's one thing that everyone can take from this call. And I hope they make $1 million with it because it works.
What's up, guys? Real quick, just jumping in here. If you've ever wanted to become an individual sales rep and be able to sell solar from anywhere in the world, just like I am here right now, you need to jump onto the Remote Solar Pro course and program that we put together for you guys specifically. We've got the scripts, the sales call library, we've got every tool, every resource that you need to make your first sale this week alone. Jump onto salestalkwithsolarpros.com/RSP, mention this specific podcast and get a deal on a lifetime membership to Remote Solar Pro. Let's go, keep enjoying the podcast. Wow.
I mean, we've had a lot of utilities that have gone up 60% in a year in Pennsylvania. And their customers, like when you actually show them that, like it's crazy. They see the articles online, utility bills go up or whatever. Maybe they use less electricity, so they think they're paying less, or it feels like they're paying less because their usage actually dropped. You break down how much they're paying the year before to now. And that's usually like that light bulb moment of like, I'm getting freaking screwed by whoever my utility company is.
Yeah, no one's ever calculated how much they spent over a year. So even if they say 150 to 200, sometimes, when we're making cold calls on the phone and we say, hey, it's the customer. So out of curiosity, are you paying 150 higher or lower? They're like 200. Okay, cool. Is that for a quarter or is that for a month? Like, no, it's for a month. Like, wow, okay, that's super high. So you're saying 200 multiplied by 12, at least 2,400 for the year? It's like that higher inflation. They're like, oh, wow. I've never thought about it that way. All of a sudden, bang, we just get their attention as well.
Yep.
How it's done.
100%. And it just puts a realization on them, right? Because again, we're not there to help them on what they have paid. We're there to help them on what they're going to pay. And that's the realization moment for the customer, where they see black and white, this is what I'm going to pay. Because if you give them a price now, if the customer's perception, they're, oh, it was about 250, the wife says 225, husband says 250, and now you're showing your solar bill at 290, and that's before SREX. You don't even know, right? But if you break down the math and you're saving them money without even applying any state incentives, you're a home run. It's a home run. Everybody agrees. They agree it makes sense. They've seen it make sense. They're not going to go online and Google solar is a scam after you leave and rot you out. They're gonna believe what you did because you serviced them. And the best part about that is no one else is doing it yet. I mean, other people might now that we spoiled it, but hey, I hope it's used. It's a great tactic, but there's nothing better than actually getting a customer to sit down with you virtually or in person and do the math. Because if that customer is doing the work and they're engaged, now you have a buyer. Now you have a person that you serviced, and that service is going to obligate them to what? That credit check. Because if they say, oh, I'm not running credit today, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, we just spent about 30, 40 minutes breaking down your power bill, going around your home virtually or in person, making sure that everything is going to be conducive. But I mean, wouldn't it make sense just to finally, complete the qualification, just a quick soft check, right? You have that ammo because you serviced them, right? They went along with it and they put in the time. They're not just going to say no, because you put the time in.
Yeah, we used to call that kill the bill.
Yeah.
Kill Bill.
That's solid, man. So we've got some of the do's, the RHTD. What about the don'ts?
The don'ts, again, as I said before, there are so many more do's than don'ts. But one of the biggest don'ts you can do is throw your reps in front of appointments that either A, they're not qualified to handle, B, they're not trained fully yet and they don't understand how either solar works, how the tax credit functions, the incentives and the states are operating in, right? That's your job to develop. So the biggest don't is put your reps in front of your purchased appointments or your generated appointments before you've developed. The biggest fault is people will think I trained them I did a Google Meet or a Zoom for a couple hours. They're trained. They're a solar pro. And nope, you got to develop them.
They know what a kilowatt hour is.
Yeah, exactly.
A kilowatt of what?
Yeah. The solar works at night. Yeah, it works from the moon. I had someone tell me that once, by the way, that they were trained from another company that solar is powered by the moon.
Heard that.
Yes, solar, it melts the snow. No, yeah, it kills the birds. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about bird poop. It's fine.
It's the self-cleaning panels.
Yeah. That's my favorite online video, by the way. There's a YouTube video in Texas. One of our reps showed it to me. I crack up every time I see it. A customer was like, what happens if birds keep flying on my ground mount? So one of our reps, Noah, he showed him a video in Texas. When the birds fly over the ground mounts, there's so much power, they just explode.
This is what happens.
Yeah. It's a defense mechanism.
To add on to your question too, I think another thing that would be like major don'ts is going to be, just throwing your reps to the wolves and kind of setting them up for failure, like not training them properly or putting them in front of tons of deals that aren't qualified or they're not ready to close, or that they don't know or have the tools to close, like whether it's too many tree work or they don't know how to identify that they need new roofs or it's just a brand new market, right? Because that person is just going to get fatigued by not closing, right?
Yeah.
By just getting, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, no fatigue or whatever. They're going to get just beat up and you're going to end up losing that rep because they weren't developed properly, like Sam says, and they're going to get, I don't even know what the proper term is, some kind of deal fatigue, right?
Well,
where they're just not getting it. Yes.
Associating pain and failure with solar, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they're not prepared, just like, if no one prepares you for the hard work that you got to put in at the gym, you go once, you're a little sore, you go twice, you're more sore. By the third time, you're never going back because you're like, nah, it's too much pain.
We've seen
Yeah.
it too by trying to take like really top tier in-home closers and try and put them on virtuals without like
Any training, yeah.
properly training them to do a virtual sit, and then they just get pissed after like a week or two of not closing anything. When they would close, like you give them like 5 or 6 really good sits in a week and they're bringing back 3 deals.
Yeah.
Right. So if they, but then they get into virtual and then it's like, oh, this guy never showed up on the Google Meet, but they didn't text them or anything. They just went and got on the Google Meet. There was nobody on the Google Meet. Like, dude, these people don't know how Google Meet works. They never knew what Google Meet is. You gotta like text them ahead of time, send them that picture of the house with the Google sunroof. I'm your consultant today, assigned to your appointment at 3:00. I'm you're so excited. You have such a great site for solar. Check this out. Right. Look at the sun hours, whatever. Get them amped up for the appointment, excited, and then text them the link again, like all that extra, those touches and that extra communication to build value in the appointment. Because we've had just like in-person reps who like don't do anything and they just get on the Google Meet and then they're just pissed because the guy's not on the Google Meet. But that's a failing on our part when we were first doing that, because we didn't properly train them on how to do a virtual. Like we've done virtual sales for a long time. So it's just like, that's just how how to sell solar, dude. It's the same thing. Just do it on the computer.
Sure.
So, but there's a lot of other little things in there that go into that. So I think that's probably like one of the biggest things. And that's how you're going to lose potential high performing players and lose out on money and deals too, obviously. But like what's more valuable than money and deals, I would say, is your people, right? Long term.
Yep.
Right. Because that's you don't have people, you don't got money, you don't got deals, you don't got anybody that's going to close your leads.
Yeah.
It's what the
Now,
whole
for
organization is
everyone-
built off of.
Now, for everyone who's watching this live, guys, ask questions. Let us know what questions you have. We're live. This is not a pre-recording. We're really here. And we've got an absolute gun on this call. We've got Samuel, who came from the fitness industry. So I want to hear some more like cool stuff that you guys used to do to close deals in person. One call closes at the gym that translated into closing into solar. Because I feel like, with the solar industry, it's quite like close to only getting training from within the solar industry. But there's all these other industries that have been around for so much longer that have been doing one call closes for much longer than us.
I mean, the first thing, right? If you want to like a cool correlation, right? So when you walk in the gym, right? Someone walks up, what do they have in their hand most of the time? A guest pass, right? They got a guest pass in their hand, right? So what we used to do, and this is what we apply to solar as well, when they come in with that guest pass, you literally say to them, hey, by the way, there's 2 kinds of guest passes here that we offer. We have a guest pass for someone who's essentially just visiting the area, passing through for business or travel, or we have a guest pass for someone who's looking to potentially join. Which one would you like? Oh, I'm looking to potentially join. Now, boom, what did we do? We automatically deciphered if they're full of crap, if they're looking to join. Oh, perfect, great. So come back over to my desk. Let me show you how that works. Now you go over same day incentive. You say, listen, so this guest pass, it actually has a value to it. We can actually utilize this to kind of wave a little bit down on your enrollment fee, and the guest pass still applies. So even though we're getting you started on your gym membership today, you have that same duration of your guest pass, or if you don't like it, you don't love it, you can still part ways as friends, but you got that discount. So you're looking to join anyway, why not save $50, right? Makes sense, right? And that's where in solar, we came up with the brand ambassador. So brand ambassador is I love brand ambassador. When I get TO'd, I hope it's for the brand ambassador call. So what we do.
What's a TO, Sammy?
Turnover.
For anybody who's watching this.
A turnover call, right? And essentially a turnover call or a TO is not just for if you can't get the deal, it's for servicing. So we'll be in a house, right? And it's, we priced it well. We can work in a 6-month rebate. Everything's great. And a rep calls me up and they're like, I'm going to pretend that I'm the rep calling a TO person here. So I'll be like, hey, by the way, hey, Jeremy, listen, I'm here with Mr. Jones. And, I got to say, he has a phenomenal house facing the street. And I looked around, there's only like one other house with solar. And I know we were doing that brand ambassador program a couple of months ago. I'm not really sure if there's any open spots or not, but listen, I mean, hey, if I can get him started today on a program, is there any way that we can enroll him on that brand ambassador where we can give him those, that 6-month rebate and kind of throw him a $1,000 referral for anyone that, he kind of gives us from his neighborhood. This guy's like the talk of the town, man. I think he's like the mayor of the town. He hasn't told me yet. So I think he's going to give us a lot of business. We can still do that. Yeah. So if you get started today, we can still do that. Great. Awesome. Hang up the phone. What did I do? I built a premise, right? I did a sharp angle if I could with you. And I kind of brought it in there where now by signing up today, he got me. He didn't get a solar rep. He didn't get a random company. He got me. I have value because I called someone up. I got him a brand ambassador. He got to talk to my manager. I'm special, right? And it's funny because the best thing you could ever do when people tell you that they're solar shoppers is just say, hey, listen, I get it. Let me guess, Mr. and Mrs. Customer. So, you went online and then all of a sudden you got some people emailing you prices with some pretty pictures of panels on your roof, right? They're like, yeah. I'm like, has anyone come to your home or had you walk around your home like I did to check certain things? No. Has anyone broken down your power bill for you to really see what it's going to actually, what it's actually going to break down to monetarily compared to your solar bill? No. Well, here's why. Because that's just a computerized generic number that they're throwing at you, hoping that you might bite. I'm a real person, right? Because at the end of the day, people don't buy solar, they buy you, right?
Yeah.
So you got to be the person
experience as well. Yeah.
Yeah. They buy the experience. So when you're asking from a gym correlation to solar, it's the give and the take, right? If you give your customer something that's a same day created experience, you don't even have to ask for the sale. And in fact, I never ask for the sale. I just assume it. I flow right through. If you give the customer 2 doors, which one they're going to pick? They're going to pick obviously to wait. It's natural. Just like at a gym when they go in, if you give them an option to leave and do their guest pass, you're never going to see them again. They're just going to go guest pass hopping. You got to get them now while they're hot. You got to do it. And you'll learn eventually that, just like the fitness industry compared to solar, like you said before, they go hand in hand. It's because of that same day urgency, and you know how to create it.
Yeah, that's definitely where the money is, and teaching reps that there is no second meeting. Like this is it. Like you don't have another shot.
Yeah. Just building the urgency, another great angle for that you can use. So when you're in a home, right, and that customer wants to move over the price. So if you say, oh, the rate expires, oh, this is expiring tomorrow, right? Homeowner could think, okay, that's a little full of BS, right? Because it sounds too pushy, right? Now, if it's the end of the month, end of a quarter, interest rates going up, sure, that's believable. But one thing that really works well is you let them know that, hey, listen, just so you know, I'm sure you saw everything going on in the news. Your neighborhood, we just broke down your power bill. You're paying 22 cents a kilowatt hour. We are getting called out the wazoo here. We just signed up about like 50 to 80 of your fellow neighbors in this territory here. So we're having so much business go in, we can actually price you a little bit less because we're kind of grouping it together because we're going to have a couple crews come out in the same couple weeks, do all the jobs. So I'm actually pricing you something that's really exclusive to right now. So I understand you want to think about it, but the reality is, going into the season we're going to, I don't think we're going to get another boom like we just had. So you might be throwing away almost 15, 20%. So let's just get you started. Simple things like that create real life urgency versus just throwing, oh, you have to do it today because it's dark outside, or like something, like
every day.
I stepped on gum in your yard, you're joining, whatever, just something. People respect urgency that's believable.
Yeah.
Right. That's believable. They don't want to be, no one wants to feel like they were sold. They want to feel serviced.
Great way, I think, to create urgency, like you mentioned, is, if you're doing a lot of business, being flooded with appointments and opportunities. Sir, I can't come back here because I got a full calendar this week. I got 25, 30 opportunities, right? If you're doing cold calling, you're doing door knocking, I don't have time to go to see everybody twice, right? There's a great way that you can create urgency, is because you're such a professional and such a hot commodity. You don't have time to go around to talk to everybody twice. I can't come back here to everybody twice. So I need to know if you want to do this deal, or, if I'm going to do a deal with 6 of your neighbors, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Something else that you mentioned too, earlier about all the training on those other platforms or different industries. Something else that we do as an organization is we have our whole team on Cardone University, which isn't really a hot thing in solar. I don't really hear anybody talking about it, but our whole team is on Cardone U, and we actually require it for all of our cold callers, all of our marketers, and everyone on our sales force has to train 3 modules a day, 5 days a week. If you miss your modules during the weekdays, you can make them up on the weekends. Yeah, we let you make them up on the weekends. So you can make them up Saturday and Sunday as long as you book 5 days a week. Right. So if you're jam-packed on Thursday or Friday and you make it up Saturday, Sunday, you're good. But we require every single person to train on Cardone U. And I think that's been a huge thing for us in our industry. It's obviously not like solar specific, but when it comes to like marketing, sales, mentality, building a business, negotiating, closing, like all that stuff is still the same core, like, message, right? You don't have to know the solar word track to know how to close a deal. Or to believe in the benefits of marketing and cold calling and pitches, and his stuff like freaking works. We use that Cardone, like we started using it when we were like 4 months in business. I think we had like 50 sales like in the 4 months that we had been in business when we first started. Now we're doing like 50 plus a month.
Wow.
Like every month, we have got a couple months like pushing triple digits, but there's a lot of other things that go into that. It's obviously not just sales training, but having a one platform that your whole team trains on and you all do sales training every day. I think is huge, and it's super, super helpful. I know there's a lot of other things out there, like especially in solar or solar sales, specific training. But we've been on Cardone U. I love the Cardone U. I've gotten a shit ton out of it. As far as like closing, negotiating, sales, marketing, everything that you need to run a high performing sales organization you can find on there.
Dude, I second that, man. I second
It
that.
really is great.
We're on Cardone U since like 2018 or 2019 when it was just first getting started. We had it like rebranded with our like what's it called, the VT, the Lightspeed VT. We had it rebranded with our branding and all that real cool stuff. We used to do exactly the same as you, man. But even though, like you said, it's not solar specific, it's the consistency that breeds the results, like the electricity, it's the energy, and it's just like, seeing someone else that's not the existing leadership within the company that's training, and seeing someone else like a third party training, that's gold, man. Because then, they reinforce everything that you say as well.
Yeah, we bring a lot of that onto our sales meetings too. There's so many good topics on there that you can talk about. That gives us more topics to talk about in our sales meeting. We have sales meetings every morning, Monday through Friday, so it gets our team all together. I recommend them a ton. I actually talked to my man, Eddie, before this call. So if you guys are thinking about sales training platform, I'll hook you up with my man, Eddie Palermo over at, Grant Cardone's office, and he will hook you up. If you tell him Kelly's Solar Special, he will give you tons of free tickets. And what is it? He's got a bunch of deals worked out for anybody who wants to do it. So you reach out to Eddie. I got his email and his phone number. I'll drop it in the comments. And he's got extra tickets, extra hookups and deals for anybody who comes out with a little code. But I recommend them a ton, man. We love them. Our whole team trains on the platform every day.
Love that, man.
That's great
Guys,
stuff.
this has been an awesome. Is there anything else that you want to go through, Samuel? Any more nuggets you want to drop?
I'll end with this. It's one more big dump, and this comes down to nipping a poison in the butt, right? So let's just say you have a team, 8-10 people, and all of a sudden you have one rep saying, "Oh, I had 10 no-shows today. I had all these credit fails. All these appointments are garbage." Now all of a sudden you have 3 of them, and you have 4 of them. The reason why, right, is because failure is contagious, and you have to emphasize when you see those things, and you as a manager, you as a leader, you condone them, and you condone incompetence, and you let them grow, right? You got to show these guys that you're going to fail in direct proportion to your willingness to accept socially acceptable excuses for failure. That's the failure formula. So if you have someone that had 10 no-shows and they tell their friend they're going to have no-shows, people will manifest this stuff.
Yeah.
So solar is a psychology. Just take that advice, and if you see anyone in your team spreading that, you got to take them out of the picture, because one person like that can ruin the whole empire. Keep that positivity,
Agree,
man.
Yeah, just only positive talk.
Only positive.
No, just like GC, he's got the little poster that says no negativity allowed. He even had the what do you call them, the bands.
Yeah, I was actually in his office. I was at their headquarters. They had an HQ day, and they let us because we were first setting up shop. Myself and like 2 of our guys went down to see how their call center runs. Freaking runs like a machine. So we got to see the whole ins and outs of Cardone. I had lunch with him once. He's freaking dude is sick. So that's one of the reasons I recommend a sales platform, is because he is an absolute monster. I'll post Eddie's contact info in there. You guys reach out to Eddie and let him know I sent you. He's got a bunch of extra solar packages for anybody who wants some sales training for their team.
Yeah, man. Maybe we should get Eddie on one of these lives as well.
I could do that.
I know they always bring the fire.
I could 100% do that. I could call Eddie up. I could have him come on. We'll do a 5th bonus episode. I'll work that out with you. I could get Eddie on.
Let's roll.
Nice.
Let's roll. Guys, this has been awesome jamming. We're going to turn some of these word tracks into reels so we can put onto the Sales Talk with Solar Pros page, because there's a lot of word tracks that people can use in their sales appointments in future, whether it's on the phone or in person, strategies as well that are going to make people real money. Thanks, Samuel, for bringing that fire. Thanks a lot, man. It's been awesome experience. And Kelly, once again, man, thanks a lot. This has been episode number 3. We've got one more episode.
These are great. Thank you for having us, man. This is a lot of fun.
Love it, man.
For sure.
Who's on the next episode, Kelly? Well, what should people be looking forward towards?
Oh, so Michael Daring is our CRO. He's he's going to help us with, now he's got massive expertise in everything with solar. But one of the things that we're going to talk about is all the things that goes into your project after a sale's made, right? Getting the glass on the roof, going through the whole process and getting paid, right? Because that doesn't matter how many contracts you sign. You could sign 10,000 contracts. If you don't get glass on the roof, you are not making a dime.
No one's getting paid. Where can people find you guys? I know there's the incubator program that Apollo's put together. Maybe tell everyone about what that's all about, Kelly.
Yeah, so we're putting together the incubator program so you can get on board with us. We want to help grow your dealer, your operations, get you doing 25, 50 plus deals monthly. We even have deals in place where we can turn you over direct to Suntuity or to any of the other EPCs that we work with. And you have the opportunity to go direct with them if you want to do that. So unlike a lot of other dealers, we're not going to keep you under our thumb forever. It's how most like sub-dealer relationships go, is they don't want you to go out, but we want to help you grow. And then you can fly the nest, right? Whatever that terminology is that you want to do, but we'll give you a lot of those insights on sales, on marketing, on how to build an operations team. That's actually one of the things we didn't get a chance to talk about today. Maybe we can talk about that next week, but running a retention team. So when you have those deals that cancel, having a guy who just comes back out and cleans up with like lower PPWs, having a pitch for that. And, running a solid retention team we're running a cancellation rate as an organization below 15% right now.
Wow.
That helps a ton.
Awesome, man. Guys, once again, it's been a pleasure. Where do people find you, Samuel, if they want to follow you on social media?
So I'm actually up right now. I'm remaking my whole Facebook. I actually got hacked recently. It was very unfortunate. It was pretty wild. But I'm remaking everything right now. So I'll post it in the group once I get back in there for you.
Let's go. Awesome.
Yep.
And Kelly, we're gonna be dropping the link as well, the Google form, so people can contact you for the incubator program. But those who are on YouTube, those who are on Spotify, maybe listening to the audio, what's the email address that people can contact you on?
You want to reach us on dealer support at apolloenergycompany.com. You can also use our customer email if you want to go solar at apolloenergycompany.com. It's apolloenergycompany.com. We blow that out there for social media, digital marketing. So we get some leads that come in that way. We get that information though. So if you ever like send an email there, we're going to get it. Dealer support is a really easy one that goes to all the relevant people. You can message us on Facebook, message me on Facebook, Instagram also. We're getting a Pinterest started next week. So we're going to start putting up all those pretty pictures of that sun out there, saving everybody, saving you from those high electric bills. And yeah, man, let us know what you want to do. If you want to get your dealer, you want to stop doing 5 deals a month, you want to start doing 50 deals a month, we'll help you do it in 3 months.
Boom. And I can
do it.
so that anyone that wants to, skyrocket their sales, definitely get in touch with Kelly Wilson and team. All right, guys, enjoy. Thanks to everyone who was on this podcast today as well. Catch you guys later.